Hello beautiful people, how's everybody doing? In today's video we'll talk about the Nikon D850. This video is going to be useful to you if you have been deciding whether you should or shouldn't get the D850, especially if you're a current D810 user and you're deciding whether you should upgrade or not. As a photography business owner, a time-lapse photographer and a content creator here on YouTube, I have been using the hell out of the D850 and I think at this point I'm in a very good position to have a solid opinion about this camera. Also, if you are a new user of the D850 and you would like to learn some more about the internal features such as multiple exposure or focus shift, make sure to check out the video description down below because I've already created tutorials on those. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons of the D850. I will also go ahead and share some other thoughts and then we will conclude whether it is fair to call the D850 the best DSLR camera ever made or not, because a lot of people have been making this bold statement and I think it's very interesting looking at this particular claim. First of all, let's talk about the things that I personally do not like about the D850 and get them out of the way because there is a great list of wonderful things about the D850 to discuss. In my opinion, the absolute biggest downside to the D850 is the scam that Nikon introduced with the battery grip. It'll cost you about $1,100 to unlock the 9 frames per second. I've made a video about this and how you can save about $900 by going with third-party options. Definitely make sure to check it out. I'll leave the link in the video description down below as well. I was personally a bit annoyed that the D850 had the built-in flash taken out. I very much liked and used the built-in flash on the D810, especially when shooting events. I believe the reason why the built-in flash was removed in the D850 was for better weather sealing. While focus peaking was added to the D850, which is great and we'll talk about it later, focus peaking is not available when filming in 4K. This is really annoying and makes no sense to me whatsoever. And Nikon SnapBridge is still a failure even with the newest phone updates. Besides, the wireless capabilities on the D850 do drain the battery quite significantly, so even if SnapBridge worked flawlessly, I would still not necessarily recommend the use of these wireless functions. Now that we've spoken about the things that I consider to be downsides, let's dive in and take a close look at all the wonderful things about the Nikon D850. The first thing that should be noted about the D850 is the great value. $3,300 is exceptional for what you will get in this camera. The build quality of the D850 is quite nice. The D850 feels more muscular than the D810 and is simply built like a flagship camera, which it is. The touchscreen is a wonderful addition to the D850 and it works amazing even with the tempered glass on it. The D850 offers massive resolution. 45-46 megapixels is simply incredible. When cropping your images, you can crop in quite far, almost as if you're zooming in with any lens that you shot, and you won't lose any image quality to a very great extent. With such tremendous resolution, you can make massive prints and maintain a great DPI. You can also easily render 8K time lapses, which leads me to the next few points. The D850 has an automatic internal 4K time-lapse video creator, which is great for those who like time-lapses but don't want to shoot raw image sequences and work on time-consuming workflows. What makes the D850 a top choice for landscape photographers is the fact that the D850 kept the same dynamic range as the D810. And keep in mind, this incredible dynamic range competes with medium format cameras when capturing content with base ISO of 64. Well, I'm not a sports photographer and I know that there are better cameras out there for that particular category. The D850 is far from bad though when it comes to shooting sports and action. The autofocus system is great and definitely better than the one on the D810. I probably rely on autofocus the most when I shoot events and I've always been very happy with it. When entering live view mode though, the autofocus does slow down a bit, but when shooting regularly it does work quite good. To help you maximize sharpness and not scare away the wildlife, the D850 has silent shooting modes in which you can hold down the shutter button and take as many shots as you wish without making any noises. This can also help when photographing certain events. At highest resolution and 14-bit lossless compressed, the D850's buffer can fill up to about 51 shots with the appropriate memory card. This is not bad at all. And when shooting JPEG, the buffer can fill hundreds of shots. This is crazy. By default, the D850 shoots 7 frames per second, which is not bad at all, but with the battery grip you can unlock 9 frames per second, which does not sound like a lot more, but this 2 frames per second can make a significant difference. Once again, check out my video on how to save about $900 on the D850's battery grip. The D850 does not compete with the low-light kings like the Sony a7S II, but the low-light performance is still quite good. The D850 certainly handles noise better than the D810, and I do not hesitate shooting with an ISO up to 6400 when shooting events with harsh lighting conditions. The D850 also amazed many of us with its great internal features such as focus stacking, or as Nikon calls it, focus shift, a more advanced multiple exposure function, and the already mentioned internal 4K time-lapse mode. When combining the D850 with an autofocus lens, you can set the camera up to do automatic focus stacking. This can be quite useful when shooting products, for example. Multiple exposure is great and allows for creative blending of up to 10 different shots. Other Nikon cameras have this feature as well, including the D810, but the D850 introduced more blending modes. If you have manual lenses, you will absolutely adore the D850. The focus peaking feature will show you on the live screen where you're focused on precisely. You can also change the colors that indicate where your focus is on. My highest quality lens that I own is manual, so I really appreciate this feature. Unfortunately, as mentioned earlier, focus peaking is not available when shooting 4K video though. As far as video capabilities are concerned, the D850 definitely headed in the right direction, but it still disappointed and didn't convince enthusiasts. Video is only available in the common 8-bit format, and there is no stabilization when shooting 4K. I personally would have loved to have 10-bit video, but nothing is perfect and I will just have to accept that. A flat picture profile is available and can help capture more available dynamic range when shooting video. You can also install a Cineflat profile. I also made a video on that, so make sure to check that out. And luckily, you can capture slow motion video only in 1080p though. This feature is also much appreciated. And on another note, let's talk about image file sizes. It is definitely a privilege having so much dynamic range and resolution available, but your hard drive space will fill up very fast, especially if you shoot a lot of time-lapse material. And if you use software like Lightroom with a catalog, things will eventually slow down due to the massive file sizes. As you can see, the Nikon D850 is quite the incredible camera, flexing its muscles in pretty much every category. And as a photography business owner, I will never hesitate to take on any challenges because this camera has been just so reliable. Now keep in mind that the D850 was released over a year ago, and now heading towards the end of 2018, I don't think we've seen another DSLR camera that would be competing with the D850. So the D850 does get my vote for best DSLR camera ever made. I think this is a true masterpiece by Nikon. As you can see, the D810 equals the D850 when it does come to the dynamic range, and perhaps the built-in flash can be useful to some, but the D850 simply beats the D810 in pretty much every aspect. However, the D810 still remains a very relevant full-frame camera to this day, offering great value, great raw image capabilities, and resolution for those who shoot landscapes, studio, and commercial work, for example. And I think having said that pretty much sums up today's video. Thank you so very much for sticking around and watching my video. If you have any questions about the D850, please do not hesitate to let me know in the comment section down below. I am very good about responding to each and every one of you who leave comments on my videos. And of course, make sure to smash the like button if you learned something new today. And if you would like to support me and my channel, why don't you subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this. And this is it for today. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.